Rice Fame Group supports the legacies of HBCUs. Hello, this is Lacey Rice Jr. with Rice Fame Group, welcoming you to Chat with HBCU Champions. This is season 4, and today our special guest is Howard University men's golf coach Sam Puryear, who is actually an annual guest of ours. So that kind of tells you quite a bit about his golf program over there at Howard. And so once again, we do want to congratulate you, Coach. This year you won the 2025 Northeastern Conference title. So great job. Congratulations.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a great year. Great year for the women, great year for the men.
Yes, sir. And you and I were talking earlier before we came on that your women just missed they just missed the championship by 1 stroke at the NEC this year, which that's historic. That's terrific. So you almost just miss having 2 championships right there, and I don't know anybody else that can say something like that.
Yeah, no, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm proud of all the players. You know, we just graduated the best female to play in our program history, Kendall Jackson, and over the course of her 4 years, you know, we won more than 10 events, which is a lot. She had 6 individual wins herself. Then on the men's side, you know, when we graduated, you know, Everett White Jr. and Greg Odom Jr., you know, a lot of people said, hey, they have to rebuild, and they were right. And yet we brought in some young guys that were part of the program when they were here as freshmen and saw some of what it took. And then this year they kind of stepped up, plus a couple of additions, and we were able to do it again with back-to-back. So now, in 5 years with the men, you know, we won 3 conference titles in 5 years, which is pretty great.
Yes, sir. And I will remind people, the NEC, the Northeastern Conference, is not an HBCU conference. That's what we would typically refer to as a PWI conference. So you're not just playing your HBCU peers, you're playing various other programs in that particular conference.
Right. Yeah, it's been great. I think at the end of the day, the only color that really matters is red. That's when you're making birdies, and that's the hue that, you know, that we're all looking for. So, we just kind of focus on playing golf. And I think if you do that, compete against some of the best teams you can, and at the end of the day, it all takes care of itself.
Right. And we've talked in the past about how your program started in conjunction with NBA legend Steph Curry. For those who did not hear this in the past, could you tell us how your program got started there at Howard?
Yeah. So essentially, in 2019. Stephen Curry was doing a premier shooting on campus and ran into a student by chance, a kid named Otis Ferguson IV. And Otis is a fantastic young man, and Otis was an incredible student, but he also loved the game of golf. And before, Stephen walked off stage, Otis approached him and said, hey, let's get around the golf in. And then one thing led to another, and a bevy of communication, and those two struck up a good relationship. And I tell all of my friends all the time, Howard is a great institution, and I know people that had a conversation about golf, but it would have never happened without Otis Ferguson IV. I mean, I give him the credit for being that beacon to make that initial introduction to Stephen, and Stephen also having an interest in golf, and he and Otis hit it off well. And what Otis shared with them about Howard being a great, top 30 institution academically in the business school, top 90 institution academically overall, that supersedes any alphabet that we could ever place before the university or HBCU or any other kind of alphabet. But thanks to what Otis put out there, Stephen thought it was also a great fit, and we've at this point utilized this program to serve as a North Star for a lot of the mid-tier programs to follow.
Right. Okay. Well, and actually, I never thought about this uh, truth to everything. I guess I'm wondering how many people who watch basketball know who Steph Curry is and would think that he, like his brother, had gone to a big school, but actually he did. He went to a small school himself. And
Stephen went to Davidson, and
mm-hmm,
that's not large, and his brother went to a relatively small school as well at Duke. So, at the end of the day, I don't think which is the name of my book is called Diamonds in the Rough by Samuel Puryear. And I think at every school in America, there are diamonds in the rough. And I think Howard has shown that we've been able to find a lot of diamonds in the rough, and we've been able, year after year, we've been working very diligently to continue to polish and place polish on those diamonds. And when like the old song, shine bright like a diamond, and when we do that, we're able to win back-to-back NCAAs. You're able to win more than 10 events in 4 years, and you're able to. Our first woman went to NCAA championship this year, Paris Fielding. So, we continue to be able to shine as bright as we can, and it's been a blessing. And our goal is to continue to try to unearth more valuable stones, and to continue as a coaching staff, continue to try to put polish on them as well.
right. And you're definitely right. You never know, who or what you might have in various situations, various environments, and some people have just rose to the occasion, whenever things have happened, because just, as you mentioned earlier, this just a story of how Howard golf came into existence, that doesn't really happen anywhere.
Honestly, it takes a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, this hadn't been easy, and it's funny. People think that it's easy. Very hard, actually. This is really, really hard. Like because you're battling a lot of issues, and on the front end, people say, well, yeah, Howard is a great academics too, but why would I come to DC with traffic and travel to golf courses? And I tell them all the time, I said, regardless of your culture, I actually love living here. Anything you can consider doing, you can do in DC. I'm a sports guy. I love going to games. You go to Ravens games, you go to Commander games, you go to Orioles games, Capitals games, Wizards games. I go to all of them. And it's fun to be able to do that here. But also, if you're a foodie, the food is great. You can go in Maryland, DC, or Virginia, and the food is fantastic. Get different types of food. Summer times are amazing with the festivals, and it's just a lot of history here. DC is just, this whole DMV area is just a special place. So, it's really hard because what people don't seem to understand also, the golf here is great. Your golf in DC, there's some incredible clubs here where you can play. They just think about it. They just had a U.S. Senior Open here, or the Senior PGA Championship, whatever it is, 2 weeks ago. It was here. They've held the U.S. Women's Am was here a few years ago. So there are so many great golf courses in this area.
Yeah, and I guess people just really don't. Maybe some people don't really think about that. You are in an area where a lot of dignitaries, domestic and foreign dignitaries, come. A lot of them like to relax by playing golf, and or they like to strike up business deals on the course, and various things like that. And so, Yeah, that's great to hear. That's definitely great to hear. And you yourself, you have a very successful story and background. And I do need to tell you this since the last, well, actually, I don't think I told you this the last time that we talked. I know that you're a Tennessee State alum,
Yep.
and since we met, I've become a Tennessee State student.
No, okay. Okay. Well, I tell you what, I'm excited. Tennessee State right now with their interim president, they're doing some great things. Their AD is working really, really hard. Athletics is trending and vibing the right way. I love TSU, and I'm proud of what the program, the athletics did last year, and I know from and talking to the AD, I know what they're focused on going forward. They're going to continue to do some big things.
Right. Yeah, and actually, Tennessee State is one of the programs that I cover uh, uh, athletically.
Okay.
Um, being here in Kentucky, Tennessee State, Simmons are my two primary. I also cover Kentucky State.
Okay.
And so, but definitely love making that trip down to Nashville, especially during football season, catching those games and
Oh
everything.
yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. That's the fun time. I know for sure I'll catch one in the fall. I'm looking forward to it. They actually play Howard this year,
okay.
so that's going to be fun. I'll be there. I'll be there. No
Yeah,
question.
because that's right. Because Howard, they played Howard at Howard for homecoming last year.
That's right. And this year it'll be Tennessee State's homecoming.
Oh, okay. So I should be fully mended by that particular time. So we're gonna have to hook up.
I look forward to it.
Okay. Okay. And so yeah. So tell us a bit about your background.
Well, I grew up in. I grew up playing golf. I started. I literally. It's so funny. My dad and I were talking about this last week. Um, I've been playing golf literally 50 years, and grew up in North Carolina. And my dad was a really, really good player, and he put a club in my hand early. And it was one of those things. He never forced me to play. He never said, "Hey, I really want you to do this." It's just something I fell in love with, and I just gravitated towards the game. I mean, it's so funny. I was just sharing this the other day. Like, uh, I get along so well with older people. Well, I grew up on a golf course, and everybody was my dad's age.
Hmm.
So I learned a lot of stories. Uh, I saw a lot of scenarios, good and bad, what to do, what not to do. My parents were educators, and the golf course where I'm from in North Carolina in Winston Salem, it it placed me in the circle of people that were in the minority African American community that were doing a lot of really major things in town. So I had a chance to get to meet and know those people that were doing what they were doing. So my upbringing was pretty special. I caddied some as a kid, not a whole lot, but I caddied some in some of the bigger events. But at the same time, I got a firm understanding, a true one-on-one of what um, golf was supposed to be about, and
Hmm.
and so that hence is why I started this whole conversation off. The only colors that matter were red, because I realized that as a kid, best score wins. You shoot on the par, you're gonna beat most people. I mean,
Hmm.
par was created for a reason, and
Hmm.
I kind of took it a step further and realized, I said, if I can model my life and live at par and have a
Hmm.
par life and make some occasional birdies in life, which in my case, you have wonderful kids and grandkids, and you help some people. Those are birdies in my eyes. Then you're
Hmm.
going to have a very productive, efficient, and amazing existence. Uh, so as far as I'm concerned, I'm on the par in life right now.
Okay. Okay. And then you were a golfer at Tennessee State University.
Yep, yep. Went to TSU to play golf. Coach Dr. Katana Starks recruited me, and it's interesting compared to how we're set up and what I've helped build here. You
Hmm.
know, we have a lot of resources. You know, I'm out recruiting, I'm raising money as often as I can, and we have some incredible partnerships again, initiated in the beginning by Stephen Curry, and then we created our own relationships as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of always mirror that to the relationships when I started. And at TSU, we didn't have a ton of resources, so you learn to be grateful, you learn to be very appreciative, you learn not to be entitled,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because you also learn there's enough food on the table for everybody to eat. Now that doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna always get full, but you're gonna always
Mm-hmm.
have something in your belly. And so that being the case, TSU for me was an incredible upbringing because it showed me that what was possible even in the midst of not having a ton of resources.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And well, you went on to actually before you became the head coach at Howard, before you started that program there, you were a successful coach in other places. Uh,
Yeah, I've been blessed. So
mhm.
I was an assistant coach at Stanford University. I was a head coach at Michigan State. I was a director of golf at Queen's University, Charlotte. So Howard is my fourth stop,
Mhm.
and I felt like I've been in golf my whole life, and I felt like I learned it the right way. And so, going to Stanford and learning a few things, and then going to Michigan State and learning a few things, but yet implementing a plan that
Mhm.
worked with a Big Ten championship, the whole 9 yards, and then going to Queens and doing the same thing, learning a few things, but implementing something what I knew from my upbringing from Stanford, from
Mhm.
Michigan State, winning six titles there. I mean, uh, and then coming here and winning as much as we've won here, not just the three conference titles, but the few PGA Works PWCC titles, being the
Mhm.
top ranked HBCU team the last 4 years. Uh, I mean, every step of the way, I kind of I look at it this way. My goal has always been everywhere I go, everybody I meet, I want to learn and discern as much as I can,
Mhm.
and I've been able to do that. And that being the case, I've been able to have some success. And in my mind, I'm always trying to get better, and I hope that I continue to get better and recruit because you're only as good as your players.
Right.
So I want to continue to be judged. I need to continue to recruit better players, and the better players, the better coach I become. So it
Mhm.
all works hand in hand.
Okay. And those PGA Works championships that you won, they're actually considered national championships.
Absolutely,
So yeah, like
absolutely.
I said, so that winning those puts you in the top echelon anyway.
But I mean,
Because
I'm blessed for that. But I also won a national championship at Stanford too. That's been cool.
mm-hmm,
But it's funny. We were coming home from NCAA's, and one of the kids on the team said, "Coach, uh, how many rings have you won total?" I started laughing. I said, "I never really thought about it." And then we started counting them up, and I said, I have 11." And I said, "Well, now I guess I need to win. I got a lot more work to do because 11 is such a weird number. You only have 10 fingers." But then I started thinking, well, you also have 10 toes. So now I just got to keep it moving. I got nine more I got to get. So I've had a heck of a ride. I've had a heck of a ride. It's been a great trip to the amusement park. But I wouldn't trade anything. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
right, right. Well, I mean, and how many people can actually say that they are um, doing something that they really like? I mean, do you, besides the coaching aspect, do you really even consider that to be a job or?
Yeah, I think about that a lot. I mean, I can tell you what, I have a lot of I have a lot of aches and pains, so I can tell you it is a job. That's probably why I go to the gym every single day.
Mm-hmm,
I went to the gym this morning, and on the way back home from work, I'm gonna stop at the gym again. But yeah, I don't look at what I do as a job as my ministry. I mean, I literally look at this as my ministry.
mm-hmm,
I kind of look at it like Moses showed a lot of people how to get across the sea. You know what I'm saying? And I look at myself like I have an obligation to help a lot of young people help their dreams come true.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not carrying a staff, I'm carrying a golf club, but at the same time, I feel like I'm doing God's work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I said that's terrific when you can be in that particular situation, and especially helping other people to realize their dreams or to achieve their goals in life.
Yep.
There's no better feeling. And I've done it primarily on the secondary education end, as far as athletics, and actually even as an educator. But to do it on that next level, which I did have experience before I decided to retire. Um, just seeing those young folk out there competing, um, in sports that they love, and because it's not easy. It's not easy. I know, being a collegiate athlete, even though I wasn't one, I know the athletes that I've dealt with. You got to wake up at certain times, and as a coach who I've had at a clinic told coaches and athletes on the secondary end, it's not like high school where you get up because your parents get you up, or somebody else pushes you to go to practice and do this. You got to do all this stuff on your own.
You do, and I think that's where the rubber meets the road, because I think that's where the discipline part
Mm-hmm.
really kicks in. Like, I think at that point, like, there's nobody to wake you up. There's nobody to say go to class. Now, we do put things in place to help force you to do that in some respect. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, you're trying to find young people that are disciplined and dedicated, and that are looking for those opportunities. Because at that point, you kids all the time, they want to pretend that they're grown. They want to pretend that they're adults. Well, act like one.
Mm-hmm.
Be responsible. You control and craft your own narrative. And like I said, my whole entire goal here is to help foster and help create dreams and help them come true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, do any of your athletes aspire to be a coach, or are they just focused on trying to get to the professional level?
That's a great question. I think there's a cross section of all of it. I think I have some kids that want to play pro, like Greg Odom Jr. and Everett White Jr. have proven that they're good pros, they're good players, really good pros. Then we had two more students this year that graduated. Kendall Jackson and Marcus Smith. They want to be good pros one day. And then
Mm-hmm.
in a couple years, we'll have another couple kids that are going to graduate, like Matisse Peroni, and some of those kids say they want to be pros as well. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, we have wonderful kids coming to the program, like Justin Green and Jada Richardson. They just graduated as well. They're both going to law school in the fall. You know, yeah, Justin is going to Stanford, and Jada is going to University of Maryland. I mean, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
as proud of them. I'm just as proud of them as I am of anybody else. There are other kids that have come through. Raquel Simpson has come through, and she did some great things in social media, and kind of helped make her mark in different things. And then we had a kid, Richie Jones, who graduated a couple years ago. Richie is an aspiring golf pro, and his sister. They both Rosa. They both played for me. They both passed their PAT. They're both working in the golf industry.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a mixture of time and talent from young people that
Mm-hmm.
come here. At the same time, we have a ton of students that are graduating right now. Like we just had a young man just finished this year. Joshua Sipling, who graduated with an engineering degree and then came back another year, and then he's working on his MBA. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
how good is that? Kids that are that talented on the golf course, but yet are that astute in the classroom to have an engineering degree and getting ready to finish their MBA. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's what Howard can do that some of these other places cannot do, honestly.
Right. Right. That's why they call it the Mecca. So,
Absolutely.
so, so I mentioned being a golf pro or playing professionally, but also coaching. And so, one thing that I don't know how many people realize this, but a lot of golf clubs, they hire golf pro to teach other people how to play golf.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, at the same time, we have young players that are on the team that uh, they do some volunteering, they do some work at some of the local golf courses and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's just this is a big world.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big world, and in that big world are some really talented young people that can do a lot of different things. So golf courses are hiring great instructors, but God Almighty, there's so many of these other talented students that can aid in so many industries. So I just love, like I say, this is my ministry. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to help get kids there. I mean, we're taking, we're taking the walk that we're supposed to walk, and we're just trying to change lives.
Mm-hmm. And I said that's terrific. And that in and of itself is a story. And maybe if somebody hasn't done it yet, somebody needs to chronicle that story. Maybe even chronicle people like Mr. Odin, and from the time that he stepped on, maybe even before he came to Howard
Okay.
to where he is now.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. I just think we just have to continue to educate our young people. But I will say this: the one thing I do think we all need to do as a village,
Mm-hmm.
although things are great now and things are working in people's favor and favor ain't fair, and we I agree with all of that. But I
Mm-hmm.
still think we need to encourage our young people to read and learn what the history was in the game. What was the history in America? What was the history with education? Because if
Mm-hmm.
you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going to go, and you don't want to repeat the same mistakes as a people. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's very important that we continue to educate young people on and off the course.
Right. Right. And you know what? Since you said that, even though it was television, an episode of A Different World, and yes, I watch A Different World a lot, but one episode that has come on several times over the past month was the episode where Colonel Taylor was invited to join a white golf club,
Okay. Okay.
a country club, rather.
Yep. Yep.
And he had been playing at the municipal course and everything else, and his son, and of course I think this all was pre-Tiger.
Yep.
uh, his son was considering him to be a sellout because he was looking to accept an invitation by that country club to be his first African American member.
Yep.
And it was very impactful, you know, that entire transition throughout that particular show. Even when let me see, Mr. Gaines,
Yep.
when Colonel Taylor told him about the invitation, and Colonel Taylor, was like, yeah, Vernon, you come out there and play, and then Vernon relayed his story about what was it, Shea Greens or something like that, and he relayed his story that his dad was a caddy there,
Yep.
and that out of respect for his dad, he couldn't do it.
Well, I look at it two ways. I actually lived that story actually through my dad.
Okay.
My dad had an opportunity to join the club, and a couple guys that he was really close to
Mm-hmm.
that asked him to join. And my dad turned it down. I never forget this. My dad and I had this conversation when I was a teenager. He
Okay.
said, "Well, he said the golf course is great. I can always play as a guest." He said, "But the crux of my buddies belong at Winston Lake Golf Course."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I can always go out there and get a game."
Mm-hmm.
I respected that. I don't think there's anything wrong with a black guy joining a private club. I don't. I don't think it's anything wrong with it at all. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
also don't think there's anything wrong with a black guy standing at the community course.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should go and play where you're comfortable. Go and play where you want to play. Go and play where your friends are.
Mm-hmm.
Because who wants to spend 4 or 5 hours of their day with people that they hate? Nobody.
Right.
So that being the case, uh, my dad did it the right way, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a proponent of both. Go where
Mm-hmm.
you're happy, go where your bread is buttered, and I think if you do that, then everything else takes care of itself.
Right. Right. And I never thought about it in that particular I never thought of it that way. That
Yeah,
you need to really go where you're going to be comfortable because yeah, Colonel Taylor was trying to provide an opportunity for his son Terrence to go play, and Terrence obviously was not comfortable
right.
going there. And by the end of that episode, after Colonel Taylor did turn that down because Shea Falls was in line for a PGA tournament and you had to be integrated.
Yeah,
Uh, you know, Terrence then, did tell his dad, hey, well, maybe, this wasn't as bad. And, I'm willing to go out and learn how to play golf. Let's go play at the municipal course.
yeah.
And Colonel Taylor's response, though, was priceless to me. He said, yeah, but there's no grass on the municipal course.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, but
So yeah, but like I said, I never thought about it that way. That you really should go where you're going to be comfortable
100%.
versus kind of bogarting your way in.
100%. I mean, at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are only so many hours in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever floats your boat, whatever makes your clock tick, there's a reason that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I even to this day, when I go play at the private clubs where we have the membership, I honestly only want to play with people I like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not looking just to strike up a game. I mean, for me, golf is an outlet where I can lose myself on the driving range. I can lose myself putting and chipping. And before you know it, I've spent 2, 3, 4 hours just out there working on my own game, having fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my own world. Now, that probably makes me, I'm probably a lot more introverted than people know.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I love my time. I respect my time. And I
Mm-hmm.
refuse to go tee it up or get on a cart with somebody that I have disdain for. I
Right.
refuse to do it.
Right. Right.
If I'm forced to do that, I'll go do something else. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why now, even now, a lot of my days consist of getting on my bicycle and
Mm-hmm.
riding 15, 20, 30 miles a day because it's something that I like to do and I get my personal enjoyment out of it. It's why I enjoy going to the gym. It's why I enjoy doing those things on my own, taking a long walk or taking a nice jog, because I value my time, because that's for me, that's my medicine. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
help medicate myself.
And you and I have talked about this in the past that previously, especially before Tiger, there had been a stigma that black men don't golf or blacks don't golf, and that wasn't that really is not true. Wasn't wasn't true when that stigma was there because you had people like Charlie Pride was one of my favorite people. Period.
Okay.
Uh, and then you had one thing that I've learned over the years is that there were a lot of guys who played in the NBA. African American players, and that's what they do.
Oh yeah.
That's what they do in their free time.
Oh
They
yeah.
they go to a new town.
Yeah.
One of the first things a lot of them do, look at Barkley and Jordan.
Yeah.
They actually before Tiger, they were the kind of like the standards as far as exposing people that yeah, black men do play golf.
There's a bunch of folks like if you think about even now, like, and I'll speak of the Ravens since we're in this neck of the woods, but like
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Hamilton,
Mm-hmm.
their line superstar linebacker. He's a single digit handicap. Great, he's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson has been seen doing some IGs playing golf. A
Mm-hmm.
bunch of those guys. I mean, you go to golf courses all over the place. A lot of those guys. I mean, a bunch of those guys in different sports they play golf.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, that stigma is inaccurate. But at the same time, it's something that they've all, Patrick Mahomes
Mm-hmm.
loves golf. Stephen Curry loves golf.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only talking about people I've seen on the course,
Mm-hmm.
uh, oh my God, what's his, jump so high. They used to call him half man, half man. He used to dunk, what's his name? Oh, Vince Carter.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Vince Carter loves golf. I mean, I've been on the golf. I've seen Vince Carter and Marcus Allen and the late Dikembe Mutombo and Steve Smith and Richard Dent. All those guys that play golf.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of those guys. So, Chris Tucker, all the entertainers, I mean, golf is such a universal game. It's good for all of us, I think.
Right. And it's great, that people do have that outlet. Because like, some of my friends play golf. They love golf. Actually, that's how I found out I wasn't any good at it. Was that I went out, a friend took me out, and yeah, I'm not even gonna go through that journey. But uh, eventually, I guess at some point, I am going to have somebody to really teach me how to play and everything. I love putt,
Well,
but I want to know how to play on a course.
it takes some time. It takes a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then maybe because they do have these franchises around the country. I forgot the name of the facility, but
Top golf.
Top Golf. Yeah. Yeah, and from what I was told, that's one of the top dating scenes. A lot of guys when they have a young lady they want to take out on a date, they go to Top Golf.
Okay. Okay. I never thought about it like that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. so, so that it's like okay, well maybe I might have to take a trip down to Top Golf. I mean, closest
Wow.
one is in Louisville, but hey,
Yeah.
it's there. So
Yeah. No doubt.
yeah, and then even in my area, because I do have access to a course that's local
Okay.
because I'm a military veteran, and
Okay.
Fort Knox has always had. Actually, Fort Knox, Kentucky, had two golf courses,
Yep.
and now it only has one. I think they raised one of them to build more housing. But the
Okay.
main one, everybody knows about the gold vault in Fort Knox.
Yep.
Right next to that gold vault is a full golf course.
Okay.
so, so I just imagine though that you better not hit that ball over that fence.
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah. You won't go retrieve your ball. I can promise you that.
Right. And so, but yeah, and so like I said, I'm very happy that golf, is expanding because I guess nobody knew what was going to happen once Tiger entered into his decline,
Yeah.
but it still remained popular, and I mean, frankly, I wasn't I didn't really know who Norm Snead was, but I knew who some of the guys after him were.
Okay.
And then, Tiger was that next set of guys that came. He was with that next set of guys that came in. He was the one who really elevated the sport. And then, everybody else has ridden the wave since then. Because you got some top golfers out of Kentucky. I don't think we had that before Tiger came in.
Yeah, and it's grown. I mean, I think what Stephen Curry has done in his underrated tour,
Mm-hmm.
I think Tiger's presence around the world has all helped to aid the growth of golf.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And since we're on that, and since say your program has played in the PGA Works, even the women this year. Um, what has the PGA and LIV merged?
No, they haven't. I mean, they're both doing great things, respectively, but they have emerged. They're
Okay,
great players on both tours.
okay, but there was talk about them merging at one point,
There are a
right?
lot of conversations. If I didn't know better, they're probably in discussions now, but I mean, I don't know that. But yeah, I think they're great players on both tours, and they have. I'm sure they both have different goals. Was from the top, but uh, they're both good brands of golf.
Okay, so are the for a person to go from amateur to pro in both of them, is it the same or is it completely different?
Well, I don't know I don't know. I don't know how to go from amateur to pro on the live tour. I honestly don't know how that process works. On the PGA tour, I know you go to Q school, and there's a route you can take if you're playing in college. You got PGA Tour U. You can go to qualifying, Q school in the fall. Some of the other tours, Latin American tour, Canadian tour,
Mm-hmm.
Asian tour, you can also go to Q school as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Liv probably also has a Q school as well, if I didn't know better. I'm guessing they probably also, because they have some, I mean, they're hosting their events at some fantastic courses. Uh, but yeah, I think there's just so many great players all over the world. Golf is just an amazingly difficult game to master.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned Tiger and his contributions to golf, but one another guy who doesn't get enough credit is the legend Happy Gilmore.
Hmm.
And actually, I say that in jest, of course, but I'm a professional wrestling fan,
Okay.
and so Wednesday I was watching AEW, and one of his top stars, he was getting booed and everything else, and his clapback to people, to the audience, was because he does act,
Okay.
and I didn't even know that this was going to be a thing. He mentioned, "Oh, y'all keep booing, but watch Happy Gilmore too." I didn't even know there was going to be a Happy Gilmore.
I didn't either, actually.
Now that's piqued my interest, and I got to see Happy Gilmore too. I love the first one, but I got to see number two
Yeah,
now.
first one's good. I didn't know there were two, actually.
hmm So and I don't know when it's supposed to come out. I'm gonna have to research that, but when it does, I'll be watching it.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, now you've mentioned quite a few of your athletes already, but tell us how everything has shaped out for them by the end of this year. I know you mentioned a couple, but you know your others. How did everything shape out for your team?
I mean, they did great. I mean, Kendall Jackson, Paris Fielding, Marley Franklin, Emily Main, Morgan Harrell. Uh, they all played good golf this year. Lanaya Moffitt. They all played good golf this year. And within those names I just listed, there's an age disparity from freshman to senior.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're going to be good again. We're going to be young, going to be good. The rules are changing some with transfer portal now. So, you want to try to add a few more. And then on the men's side, from, with Marcus Smith and Matisse Peroni and, Cassius Blake, Keziah Demosi and Mitchell Gray, those guys, I feel like, you know, again, at the same time, we're going to be good. It's also an age disparity, so we're young. But in the midst of that, we're bringing in several kids on the men's side. We're loading it up, bringing in a ton of new recruits that we're going to be good again this year. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait until the season starts again.
Okay. And one thing that you mentioned, in our private discussion was that not only did your women, um, not only were they defeated by one stroke at conference, they were defeated by one stroke at the
Right,
PGA Works
right.
National Championship, and you were missing two of your top players.
Exactly. Yeah, we lost by one, but we didn't have two of our top five playing. So that being the case, I mean, there was no, I mean, yeah, of course you're disappointed you don't win, but we understood. I mean, when you don't have two of your top five and you still almost win, we were pretty ecstatic because that meant that we had some young players that are playing pretty good golf. So we know where we're going is in a positive place. And to us, that was a win. That was a huge win to
Mm-hmm.
us. But at the same time, you realize, you go through, we built the program up, we won a lot in 4 years, and now we'll get to recycle and do it again.
Wow, that's great. That's great. That especially you can have that type of talent and depth that you can go into an event without your top people and almost win it. You
Absolutely.
know, yeah.
Yeah, so we were disappointed, but yeah, we also realized that we didn't have what we needed, and so it's okay though. I mean, we know where we're going, so everything works out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And one reason why you didn't have your top player was because she was at NCAA's, right?
Absolutely, she's playing in the NCAA regional, which is the first time we've ever had a woman slash and or team participate in the NCAA regional. So yeah, for us it was good. I mean, we've been in a position where we continue to do a lot of things for the first time, and if we
Mm-hmm.
stay steady and we stay the course, we'll continue to do it.
Okay. Now, has there always been regionals, or is that something that's newer?
No, regionals has been around forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now, how for a team to go to regionals and then to nationals, what's that road like?
Well, for us, Paris Fielding, she won the NEC conference. She won the individual title,
Mm-hmm.
and that got her an individual um, um, opportunity to go. As a team, we essentially probably also had to win the conference as well. It's all based on rank, and the team was ranked pretty well. But at the same time, no, we just really needed to. You got to win. I hate to say it that simple, but when you win, you're in.
Right.
It's pretty much that simple.
Right. Okay. Okay. So you win conference, then you go to regionals. You win regionals, then you have automatic bid to nationals.
That's exactly right. You get the AQ, automatic qualifier. Yep.
Okay. 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 So that almost actually that seems similar to what you have to do in cross country.
Well, it's in a lot of sports.
Yeah.
I mean, in basketball, a lot of sports, if you don't win, you're not in.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times it's based on rank and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so if you don't win, you still have an opportunity to go as an at large, but
Absolutely.
you have to have a certain ranking to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay. 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 So yeah. Okay. So it makes sense. It makes sense. A lot of sense. And so um now let's transition into Howard University, the Mecca. And so if I'm a golfer and I'm being recruited by Vanderbilt and by Howard,
Yeah.
why should I choose Howard over Vanderbilt?
Well, I look at it this way. Number one, I'm never going to say anything negative about another school. I just don't do that. But
Mm-hmm.
this is the way I look at it. You're going to get a stellar education at both, but also culturally, you're going to get something differently at both.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then I go down. I have like this mental list. Even in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, is a
Mm-hmm.
lot different than Nashville. The vibe, the culture, all that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the golf side, we practice at courses that are just as good as Vanderbilt. Now, their practice facility trumps ours.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have an incredible practice facility. They do.
Mm-hmm.
But again, theirs is not on campus. Well, neither is ours.
Mm-hmm.
But we have great access to courses. So if
Mm-hmm.
you want to go to Vanderbilt, where they're ranked better than we are, because we played them in regionals,
Mm-hmm.
and their strength of schedule and top to bottom, I mean, they're a tougher program. I mean, better players from A to Z. If you're not in the top five, if you're that seventh guy or eighth guy,
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to travel as much if you can't qualify? If you go to Howard, you need the reps. Don't you can go to the pros from anywhere you want to go attend school. You just have to get the reps.
Right.
And I tell a guy all the time, why not choose Howard where you can play consistently and repeatedly and
Mm-hmm.
continue to get better? Iron sharpens iron. You
Mm-hmm.
won't. You can't sit on the bench and be great.
Mm-hmm.
You have to play,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's how I look at it.
Right. Okay. Okay. And then also when discussing Howard, you always have to talk about academics, which you briefly mentioned was something that was attractive to Steph, to Mr. Curry. So talk to us a bit about that education or educational opportunity that Howard offers.
Well, that's what I mentioned earlier. I think from if you're just breaking down the actual different departments, and we talk about simple here, you don't have to make
Mm-hmm.
this complex. Your business school here is top 30 in the country. That's number one. Your academic institution, top 90 in the country. And that's
Mm-hmm.
number two. And then you have some unbelievable instructors that are some of the most world renowned teaching in all of the different schools, whether it's engineering, school of communication, school of business. You have so many wonderful instructors teaching at the university that that are on par uh,
Mm-hmm.
that are on par with anybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And one thing that we've never talked about, and one of you mentioned before, talked about chapel. I think it was yesterday when I was talking to Coach Askew. Uh, Howard also has a school of divinity,
Absolutely.
because my now I don't know if he majored in divinity or not, but my former lead pastor's son, one of his sons, attended how he's a Howard alum.
Okay. Well, also, I mean, have a law school,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
dental school.
Mm-hmm.
There are a ton of dentists in the area, uh, and I'm telling you, they don't look like me and you that went to Howard,
Mm-hmm.
and they're great. I mean, I go to a couple of them right now myself.
Right.
So, I mean, the school by far has placed an incredible stake in the ground and is educating a lot of America's best and brightest that look
Mm-hmm.
like everybody, look like the world.
Right. And I think that's probably an unspoken falsity that has gone around the country about HBCUs. Yeah, you hear it as a historically black college and university. I guess a lot of people think that only blacks attend, but
Exactly.
no, you got they are some of the most diverse. They're probably the most diverse institutions in the
100%.
country.
No question about it. No
Yeah,
question about it. Yep.
because one of my last master's degree was in sports administration, and I
Okay.
did a research project that included populations on
Okay.
campuses.
Okay.
And I think at that particular time, one of the things that was evident was that at PWIs, on average, PWIs on the high side, might have 7-8% African American on campus, and the majority of those African Americans are athletes.
Right.
And so, whereas at an HBCU, yeah, most HBCUs are definitely going to be majority African American. You do have a few that are not, um, but you do still have large African American populations at those schools,
Right.
at all of them, and you also have a decent amount of other. I'm not going to pick out any race, but other races
Right.
that attend, and they're international.
Right. Right.
So that's what I think one of the values of HBCU is that's really not spoken much.
Right. I agree.
So, so
Totally
yeah,
agree.
that's great that you brought that up. About a lot of Howard alumni,
Right.
and then Howard alumni, do tend to exceed in a lot of various areas, especially in entertainment. We the late great Chadwick Boseman,
Yep.
but then his mentor was Felicia Rashad,
Exactly.
who she was the dean of the school, wasn't she?
Yep. But she went to Howard, and so did her sister Debbie Allen.
Right,
I mean, so
right.
there are a lot of great people. I mean, you start going down a list of famous people. I mean, you start naming mayors, Kasim Reed and Shirley Franklin and Andrew Young and all these kind of folks, and they all went to Howard and they all did some amazing things in Atlanta and Mr. Young around the world. I mean, there's so many wonderfully gifted and trained people that have come through here, the Thurgood Marshalls and all those kind of people. I mean,
Hmm.
so there are a lot of them. It's a lot of history.
Right,
Kamala Harris. I mean, that's so much history.
right, right. Our the first African American or black uh, vice president
Right.
of the United States, first woman
Right.
vice president
Right.
of the United States. Yeah, and more recently, I have heard some people bring up the fact that another advantage of going to Howard is that if you want to go into government, Howard is primarily one of the places you want to be, because you can intern and and do a whole lot of different things that you just don't have access to those resources in other states
Right.
and other places.
That's
So
right.
you know, and DC is very cultural. With the Smithsonian, you got the Smithsonian,
Yep.
you got all these different monuments and all this history there. And then, of course, on top of that, it was designed and surveyed by an African American.
Yep. That's right. Benjamin Banneker.
Right,
That's right.
right.
Yep.
So yeah, that's just terrific, because I was accepted. I think I mentioned this before, in one of our earlier interviews. I was accepted to Howard
Okay.
after high school,
Okay.
and that was just based off of my ACT scores, I believe.
Okay.
And I didn't even apply to Howard, but after I took the test, I got a letter from Howard and from another prestigious HBCU saying, "Hey, well, you can get in. You just need to do X, Y, and Z."
Okay.
And so, but my unfortunately my path was laid out differently. It wasn't intended for me to be there, and I have no regrets with my path, of course, because that's what God laid out for me.
Right.
But yeah, so now also talking about HBCUs in golf, we that PGA works is not just HBCUs,
Right.
and and,
Right.
and so there's a lot of other schools, because my alma mater, my undergrad alma mater, Kentucky State, has won quite a few of the small division titles.
Right.
And so, can you talk about some of those other other type of schools might compete for that title?
Yeah. I don't know their method of madness for inviting some of those programs.
Hmm.
Yeah. I have no idea how they pull it off. But I know in the past there have been schools like Texas A&M Corpus Christi, or
Hmm.
I can't remember all the names. There is a method to the madness. I think they have some sort of formula that they use. So
Hmm.
it works for them. I mean, I still wish there was one tournament that was specifically geared for only HBCU as a national championship. But my philosophy is it's fine, just beat whoever's there, so it all works out. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think because I used to actually in 21 I lived on the naval base at Corpus Christi,
Okay.
and down the street from us was Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Okay.
And I actually had to I had some programming with the university, and
Okay.
so they are one of their designation is Latino serving
I think that's it.
institution.
I think that's it. Then that's it. That piece right there is how they get in, and they've been formidable. They've been pretty solid.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then I know you have your Native American institutions as well.
Yeah, I just unfortunately, I don't know the name of them, but the PGA has done a great job in finding some incredible golf courses. They've done a heck of a job there.
Hmm.
This year at Whistling Straits, the people at Kohler did an unbelievable job. They've had it in the past at Shoal Creek. They did a heck of a job. They had it at TPC Sawgrass, which I thought was an incredible venture between the PGA and the PGA Tour. Um, I think the commissioners of both of those tours, I was excited when they paired together and they came up with a great plan to have it at Sawgrass, because I think it actually goes back to Sawgrass next year.
Hmm.
So the game has come a long way. I can promise you that. It's come a long way.
Hmm.
And I just think golf is such an amazing game, regardless of what you look like, for all to enjoy.
Right. Right. And it's even funny that you mentioned that. That brought up something else that I saw on TV recently, and of course it was a rerun of my wife and kids,
Okay.
where Michael had an opportunity to play at Pebble Beach,
Okay.
and he was initially supposed to go out with his wife to view some wildflowers someplace like a few hours away from the house. But his buddy came and was like, "Hey, we got this opportunity. We've been invited to go and play at Pebble Beach." And that wildflower thing really changed for Michael.
He skipped it.
Well, he tried to skip it. Unfortunately for him, he had a certain amount of time to leave with the guys so they can catch a flight out to play at Pebble Beach.
Okay.
As time kept coming closer, everything that could happen in the house, everybody was running to him, and he thought it was a plot by his wife to stall him from going. But
Okay.
then, in the end, he was like, "Well, it's better for me to just go ahead and do this thing with my wife and whatnot," even though she claimed that I had her blessing to go.
Okay. That's
But
cool.
once again, though, that was another instance talking about African Americans playing golf.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I think we've been blessed, and I think you've summed it up pretty well today. And I just think the more opportunities that young people get to be exposed, who cares if they're able to become Tiger Woods, but at the same time, they can become exposed and acclimated to a game that can change their life forever. Because golf is truly a game of business. It's a game of culture. It's a game of experience. I mean, to me, it's the greatest game ever that has ever been created. And I'm just excited that I have a chance to lead a bunch of young people. And again, my goal is to simply make their dreams come true.
Hmm. Hmm. And what golf, there is a lot of strategy involved. I do know that part, even though I'm not even good at it. There's a lot of strategy involved with golf, which means that your golfers have to have a certain mental acumen. Can you tell us um, how your program deals with the mental aspects of being a student athlete? Especially considering that athletes somehow tend to be the most visible when it comes to um, what's the word I'm looking for? Certain mental things that happen, such as suicides and things like that.
Yeah, I'm not a mental health I'm not a mental health provider. I don't know anything about that. But what I can say is, uh, I look at it this way. Golf provides opportunities and outlets, and I think if utilized the right way, it can serve as an incredible uh, outlet and entree for business, for people personally and professionally, the whole 9 yards. I think at the same time, I think um, it's literally the only game that I can think of, the only game that I can think of where you can take the common man and the king and you can meet and have 5 hours together on a golf course. You can take a person that's rich, that's poor, a person that's healthy, that's sick, and yet spend that time together on a golf course. You just can't do that in tennis and basketball and football and soccer and rugby and the other swimming and the other sports. You just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I love golf. I think it is to me it's the greatest. It can be and should be the greatest healer of all American deeds. I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So as we prepare to start winding down, tell us about some of your influences. I know you mentioned your dad, but who were some of your other influences?
Well, my mom and dad are my top two. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those are my largest influences. I mean, I have mentors. Guys like Tyrone Willingham is a mentor to me, and a lot of people like that, Ed Mitchell, and people that I really, really look up to that I think were sages in their own right, in their own specific field. There's so many people I respect, and like I started the conversation off, like there are a lot of people that I met as kids that when I meet people, I try to take something away that'll help make me better because I know my ministry is to serve others, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
about service. So yeah, I'm quick to give my parents the crux of the love and the support because they're amazing people, but they were about service and working with and educating a lot of young people.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so as we let's say prepare to wind down here, this is that well, and I would be remiss and it would be a disservice to your conference if you did not talk about your conference. I usually bring that up earlier, but can you tell us a bit about your competition there in the NEC?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, some teams that have golf. I mean, we just line them up and play. I mean, I don't look at any of them as being any different than anybody else. I mean, because I don't look at it that way. To me, when you show up in the parking lot with your five, put the peg in the ground, let's see what you got. I
Mm-hmm.
love what we're doing here at Howard. I respect what we're doing here at Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and at that point, I just all I focus on is making Howard the best version of itself. That's all I literally focus on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I enjoy the competition, but at the end of the day, that's about it. I mean, I literally just put my focus, my emphasis, and interest only in Howard.
Okay. 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 Well, this is the part of the program where we give you an opportunity to shout out anybody who you want to shout out.
Well, honestly, I'm thankful that you know I love to say this. I'm thankful that Stephen Curry and Otis had that interaction. Uh, but I'm also thankful that there's so many people that have supported me over the years prior to coming here that still support me now. I'm also very thankful that parents from around the world have uh, given me the opportunity to work with their young people, their sons and their daughters. And so for me, I'm always quick to also thank my family and my parents got me started in this. And I give my brother credit because had it not been, he was a college football coach at the time. He talked about me getting into coaching. This was not my dream. I never thought about being a coach. So he was calling me, bugging me when he was a college football coach. He had, playing he was playing in fundraisers with golf coaches, and he would call me and say, "Man, you got to get into coaching. I'm out here playing with some of these guys. Number one, they can't play, and number two, they don't even know. They don't even seem like they know what they're doing." And we would laugh about it. And now, many years later, I've been coaching over 20 years, and I mean, I understand what he's saying, but So I'm quick to give those, mom and dad and my brother a lot of credit because
Mm-hmm.
that was the impetus for me doing what I do now. And so my goal now is to take it to the masses and educate and pull along as many as I can.
Okay. Okay. Well, one person who I do want to give congratulations to is your athletic director. I just saw that he was elevated, I believe, earlier this week from just not only having the title of athletic director, but now he's a vice president
I
over
think that's really cool. That's really, really cool. I think he's worked really hard. I mean, if you look at, I've actually said this to him before. If you look at the other coaches that he's brought in, I know since I've been here, uh, he has some really good coaches at this place. I mean, there are other coaches that I'll sit in their office and try to pick their brain. Hey, what are you doing good? What are you doing bad? And they do the same thing with me. And so he's done a great job of assembling a nice manufacturing plant that is producing really good automobiles coming out of this place. And right now, the market is pretty stellar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and I mean Howard has done some great things during his tenure, and I've personally interviewed a lot of so, and so it's always great, throughout the year to know that I'm going to have somebody from Howard, I have a few people from Howard on this broadcast because that's just a testament to where the institution is, not where the athletic program is now. And like I said, it just various sports, and not all the sports are in the MEAC.
That's right.
So so like I said, it's just amazing the job that he's done there. And please congratulate him for me.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he's done a great job. And, if you're going to go that route, I also think one of the most important people in that department also, there was a guy named Paul Bowden,
Mm-hmm.
who's the assistant AD, I report to Paul. I mean, I love Paul to death. I mean, Paul is the engine that he makes it happen. So there are a lot of people that don't get the credit that they're due, and Paul is one of them. And,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Davis, the other, they do a great job, but I know Paul helps make it tick. And I'm just thankful for all the people that are in place to help support me and help, allow me to do what I need to do to be successful.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. And so as we wind down, we do want to thank you, Coach Puryear, for taking this time out to chat with us. We know, this is a bit different than it had been in the previous years where we had more structured format. And so, this is truly a chat now. And hopefully at some point I'll be able to challenge Shannon Sharp and get on that level. And so we also want to thank you, our viewing audience, for participating or in viewing this chat with our HBCU champions. Coach Puryear has built a great program there, and we are definitely going to continue following their progress. We are definitely going to cheer those women on as they chase that title. And we also want you, the audience, the viewers, to please follow, subscribe, and share this video with others as we bring you the best in HBCU coaching and athletics. With that said, have a blessed day.
Yep. Thank you, man.
Yeah. Now I'm talking about young shakes. I want to represent just James. And this for my city. Hey, I do it for my city. Dog, I don't plan on going down. If he think I'm going down, then he gone first round. For my city. Dog, I ain't never been a jumping. If he thinking I'm a jump, watch him get his head lump. For my city. Dog, I don't plan on going down. If he think I'm going down, then he gone first round. For my city. Dog, I ain't never been a jumping. If he thinking I'm a jump, watch him get his head lump. For my city. Cause I feel like I love her so much, like I owe her so much, but supplying her touch, I will always respect her, I will never neglect her. Bet you hear her naming like every one of my records. No, I'm not stunting, ain't no future in your frontin', right? Gotta get this money, watch me get it all night. Planet flying top flight, higher than space stations. That's why I gotta grind, cause I need it and I hate waiting.